Welcome to the Hormone Health Boss Show, where each week we will explore the tools, strategies, and education you need to confidently advocate for your health, reduce your symptoms, and navigate your journey from peri to postmenopause like a boss. I'm on a mission to ensure all women receive the great menopause care they deserve, because no one should feel dismissed, overwhelmed, or left in the dark about their health. This show is empowering you to thrive in midlife, because just surviving isn't good enough. You have a purpose, my friend, and this world needs you at your best. It's time to thrive like the boss you are. Let's get started. Hey there, girlfriend. Welcome back to the Hormone Health Boss Show. We are on episode 14, and today we are going to talk about one of the most common symptoms that women struggle with during the peri to post-menopause transition. Now, you may know that sleep is a priority, especially in midlife. It is what rejuvenates us and allows us to recharge for the next day. And so you may already be placing this as a high priority in your life, and you're already getting 8 to 10 hours of sleep, but you are still feeling exhausted. Exhaustion, fatigue, low energy, low motivation, those are all very, very common. In fact, I would say it's one of the top 5 symptoms that every single woman experiences in the midlife transition at some point. So if you're struggling with that today, if you wake up in the morning and even after a good night's sleep, you are still tired, or you hit the afternoon and you need to grab a cup of coffee or a candy bar to make it through till dinner time, or you go to bed and cannot fall asleep, even though you have been exhausted all day long, suddenly when you get ready to go to bed, now you have all the energy in the world and you cannot go to sleep. So we're going to talk about today what is causing that in the peri to postmenopause transition, what things could be going on in your life to contribute to this pattern of fatigue and low energy. And then, of course, we're going to talk about what you can do about it, because this show is all about helping you become the CEO of your health. So let's get started. All right, girlfriend, I know that you know sleep is important, right? So if you're burning the candle at both ends, if you're not getting into bed at a reasonable hour and you're waking up super early, of course you're going to be fatigued. What we're going to talk about today is the fatigue that happens no matter how much sleep you get. Maybe you are prioritizing sleep and you are still crashing. Your energy is crashing, your energy and your motivation is low. So we'll talk today about 4 common reasons you may be experiencing this fatigue despite how many hours you're getting in bed. All right, let's get started with number 1, blood sugar instability. So if you're experiencing energy crashes, especially in the afternoon, that 3 to 5 o'clock window, sugar cravings, just craving food in general, irritability, dizziness, low energy, this can be due to blood sugar dysregulation. Now, estrogen and progesterone actually affect your insulin sensitivity, along with lots of other things that are going on in the body. So in midlife, it's very common for women to experience disruptions in their blood sugar management, and it becomes harder and harder to balance their blood sugar. So if you kind of feel like you're on a roller coaster all day long, you're grabbing something quick in the morning, maybe a bagel and coffee, and then around 10 o'clock, you're already hungry or you're exhausted or you're feeling like you need to eat something, usually a piece of fruit, to get that blood sugar back up. But by lunchtime, you're hungry again. If that is the type of pattern you're on, that sounds to me like blood sugar, and that's very common. So many women are skipping meals, or they're just relying on coffee and collagen, and that's not enough to stabilize the blood sugar. So throughout the day, you may be experiencing these spikes in blood sugar that make you feel good and have some energy for a very short and temporary time period, like a burst, and then a crash. So what do we do? What can we do about that? Well, we want to make sure that we are starting our day with 35 grams of protein at a minimum, okay? We cannot do the collagen and coffee piece here. And we really can't afford to do coffee and a protein bar. Most protein bars are not going to be high enough to support your blood sugar. So we need to really boost breakfast time and prioritize this. And this could be with a shake where you can add in enough protein to get you to that 35 grams. But we want to make sure that whether it's a protein shake or it is whole foods, that we are getting a minimum of that, because protein helps balance the blood sugar. We want to make sure that we are avoiding eating carbs all by themselves. So a piece of fruit all by itself is going to spike your blood sugar and then have a crash within 30 to 90 minutes. So make sure that you're pairing carbohydrates with protein so that that can stabilize that blood sugar. If you're really struggling, and even though you feel like you're eating really healthy, but you're still feeling these ups and downs and these swings throughout the day, you could try a CGM or a continuous glucose monitor to track your blood sugar. And that would actually give you real-time data as to what is going on and what triggers your blood sugar, because it's not always straightforward. And in midlife, as we become more, our insulin sensitivity drops, we can become dysregulated with even foods that we never had an issue with before. So a CGM could be a great way to track, or you could just track your foods and track your symptoms as well. Okay. All right, let's talk about hidden cause number 2 that affects every midlife woman. You've probably heard the term adrenal fatigue. It's actually not a true statement. What is true though is HPA axis dysfunction or cortisol dysregulation. This is very, very common in midlife because our hormones begin shifting. And as our DHEA, which is our counterbalance hormone to cortisol, as that begins to drop in our 30s, and then our progesterone drops in our early 40s, those two hormones help regulate cortisol. Cortisol is our stress hormone. And when it is dysregulated, we can have a ton of symptoms, okay? This can impact our energy because if we have prolonged cortisol elevations, then eventually over time, our cortisol can actually drop because the body gets very dysregulated. So we might wake up exhausted. We might feel exhausted all day long and then not be able to sleep at night. So a lot of people talk about feeling wired and tired, energy crashes, just not being able to make it through the day. Sometimes women say they feel like they're kind of walking underwater and being weighed down. It's just this heavy feeling. Or if you have those energy crashes in the afternoon or dysregulations in when you should be experiencing your energy, that can be a sign of HPA axis dysregulation. So chronic stress in our life is going to impact our cortisol level. It's either going to spike it really high, or prolonged stress impacts is we're going to have dips in our cortisol. So we don't want either. We don't want high cortisol and we don't want low cortisol. It's a very important hormone that gives us our energy, that keeps us healthy and safe and in a decreased inflammatory state, but only if it's within the right range. So in midlife, we usually start out with very high cortisol because we have trouble balancing that. And then we dip down lower and our cortisol typically drops and then we have no energy. So what are some things that you can do to shift this HPA axis dysfunction? Well, first, let's talk about cardio. Cardio is common in midlife, right? Like we all, when we start to gain a few pounds, and as women, we go, okay, well, we're just going to go to the gym and work harder. Cardio can actually increase our cortisol level, which could be a good thing or a bad thing. But if you are noticing fatigue and you are still pushing it at the gym, you may want to back off for a little bit. Back off and do some walking, some stretching, balancing, Pilates, yoga. Do the more gentle exercises for a week or two and see how your body responds. Do you have more energy? That is a sign that you're dysregulated. Also, we need to make sure that you're not undereating. Undereating, overeating, blood sugar imbalances, all of those things impact cortisol. So we need to look at our diet, our lifestyle, and of course, we need to work on our stressors. What stressors are stressing us out that we need to reduce or eliminate? This could be relationship stress. This could be work stress. It could be just being overcommitted. It could be running your kids all over the place. or just saying yes to everyone. It can also be chronic gut infections, environmental exposures, or cosmetics and household cleaning products that we are putting on our body. You have to remember that our body has to process everything. And everything that comes in is a stressor that we either store or we can process it and release it. So making sure that we are processing mental, emotional, physical stressors is going to help regulate your HPA axis. So we want to ditch the excessive cardio. We want to make sure we're eating 3 balanced blood sugar balancing meals per day. We want to work on reducing stressors, which is not easy to do, right? That could be a complicated task, but thinking about adding in some stress reducing activities throughout the day to help balance your system. Deep breathing, you could add in some magnesium or some adaptogens could be helpful to supplement during this time frame. And then make sure that you're getting some early morning sunshine, which helps your circadian rhythm. And that is a topic for a whole nother day, but circadian rhythm is important, and our HPA axis functions off of our circadian rhythm. So anything that we can do to improve that rhythm is going to improve our energy and our sleep. So getting some early morning sunshine can actually help you get sleep at night and more restful and deep sleep. Number 3, let's talk about another common dysfunction that happens in midlife, which is mitochondrial dysfunction. You know, as our estrogen and progesterone decline throughout perimenopause and then ultimately in postmenopause, we're going to see a shift in our muscles and our mitochondria. And they are the powerhouse of our cell. That's what gives us energy. So if you're experiencing things like brain fog or sluggishness or muscle weakness or like heavy legs, a lot of women say heavy leg. I feel like I have heavy legs. This could be a sign that your mitochondria is not functioning at its best. And this is just common as we age. This is a natural process of aging. And our muscles and our mitochondria, our cells, need to have power if we are going to be able to get stuff done during the day. So how can we address mitochondrial dysfunction? Well, it's a lot of diet and lifestyle, just like most other things that we have going on. And this is great because it's something that you can actually focus on and work on. So you want to eat more protein. Make sure that you're getting 100 grams of protein a day at a minimum. We want to have nutrient-dense foods. We want to make sure that we are supplementing if we need to with B vitamins and magnesium and things like CoQ10 that can help the mitochondria. We also want to make sure that we're getting enough NEAT movement throughout the day. So that's the non-exercise activity that is just moving around. So if you sit behind a desk all day long and then go to the gym for an hour a day, you're burning less calories and using less of that mitochondria than someone who is maybe not exercising at all, but they're moving all day long. So work on building movement into your daily routine and rhythms, even if that means you set a timer at your desk at work for every hour, and every hour you just do 10 squats. That would help build that deep movement and support your mitochondria. You can also try red light therapy or cold exposure to stimulate the mitochondria. Now let's take a look at number 4, one of the common causes for fatigue: low thyroid function, even if your labs are normal. So I know you have probably gone to the doctor and you have complained of fatigue and weight gain and cold hands and feet and hair thinning. And you've said to the doctor, can we check my thyroid? Because you're a smart woman and you know that those are symptoms of low thyroid. And then your doctor checks your thyroid and they call you up the next week and they say, your thyroid's fine. You just need to eat less and move more, right? Or you just need to reduce stress. Well, guess what? Number 1, they may not be doing the right lab testing to even determine if your thyroid is impacted. And listen, if you're over the age of 40, there is a very, very high likelihood that your thyroid is not functioning optimally. Now, that may mean that you need medication, or it may mean that you just need to make some adjustments to your lifestyle. But think about this. Perimenopause, as we transition from peri to postmenopause, it truly impacts every single cell, system, and organ in your body. And your thyroid is going to be impacted. We also see a real correlation between your hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis and your hypothalamic pituitary thyroid axis, okay? These are closely related. So if you're having adrenal dysfunction or dysregulation, we are going to see a dysregulated thyroid. And most doctors are not testing the proper tests to even evaluate if your thyroid is low. So if you're experiencing the symptoms, then we need to address that. We also can see a pattern of low progesterone increase our cortisol, which slows the thyroid down. And this right here is why I say if you're over 40, you probably have some dysregulation in some way, shape, or form. So if you're experiencing the symptoms, then we want to make sure that number one, we are testing the full thyroid function, okay? So this isn't just a TSH lab. Your TSH number checks your communication between your brain and your thyroid. That is it. It doesn't check the actual thyroid. To do that, we want to make sure we add in a free T3, a free T4, a reverse T3, and thyroid antibodies. That is how we check to see if your thyroid is functioning optimally. We can also add in some thyroid support supplements like iodine, selenium, and zinc. We need to have those minerals and vitamins if our thyroid is going to make the hormones, okay? So sometimes women simply, their thyroid function is low just because they don't have enough nutrients in their diet. So you wanna get those in through foods or you want to supplement with them. And then we, of course, want to address our stress because the HPA axis is so closely connected to the thyroid and cortisol is going to impact thyroid function. We want to make sure that we are addressing our stress throughout the day. So let's wrap up what we've learned together today. I want you to remember that if you're feeling exhausted, fatigued, low energy, low motivation, this is common. You're not alone, but we want to get you feeling better. Right? So we want to address the root cause of the issues. It's great to take supplements. It's great to add in adaptogens that can help support our body, but we ultimately want to fix the root cause. So we want to look at blood sugar. We want to look at the adrenals and our stress. We want to support our mitochondria and get our body moving. And then, of course, address any thyroid dysfunction that may be to blame. So if you're tired all the time, let's dig deeper. Now, if you want to dig deeper with some functional lab testing, you can reach out to me by clicking the link in the description below and booking a call with me. And we'll talk about what's going on in your life right now. What are your goals for the future? And what could be your best next steps to take control of your hormone health and thrive in midlife? So thanks for tuning in this week. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with another woman who would benefit because together we can empower more women to thrive in midlife and beyond and be the CEO of their health. We're building a community together, one that is strong and informed and determined to take charge. Remember, you are never alone on this journey. I'm here to guide you every single step of the way. Stay motivated, stay inspired, and never forget, you've got this. I'll catch you next week on the Hormone Health Boss Show.